Tobacco fragrances. Who doesn't love a good tobacco fragrance? Especially this time of year as it starts to cool down. I mean, hell, it's going to be snowing in Denver for the Chiefs and the Broncos game on Sunday. Cool fronts are moving through. It's time to start busting out those tobacco fragrances. And today, I want to discuss 10 of my favorites. Stay tuned. So with these 10, we're crossing all ends of the price spectrum. Some are cheap, some can be found at rack stores, on up to some expensive niche tobacco fragrances. But even though some of your favorites may not be on here, it doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. This is just my favorite that are dominated by a tobacco note, where tobacco is not just a supporting player, it's right here at the forefront. Let's jump into this first one. So with the first one, there's actually been a little bit of hype around this one being discontinued because it is harder to find. I'm glad I grabbed a backup bottle when I did that is still sealed, because one day I may need it, one day I may not. But Aramis Tobacco Reserve is a lovely, underrated hidden gem. For years now, it's been talked about before on YouTube. I've talked about it before on this channel. It is such a great dry tobacco. There's still a sweetness there, but this is a dry, like the type of pipe tobacco that you're just packing into the end of the pipe. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful smell, extremely powerful. If you can find it for a decent price, it's worth it. It's beast mode performance, it's long lasting, it's very loud. It's a great, great fragrance. It was all over the rack stores about 2 years ago. I actually picked this 3.7 up for around 25, and then I later picked up a 2 ounce for 20 while they were out, just to make sure I had more, because it's such a good fragrance. It's one that tends to get lost in the shuffle because I have so many good tobacco fragrances, but that's not to shortchange this, because this is an awesome tobacco fragrance, and if you can get your hands on it for a decent price, absolutely get your hands on it. And that's from Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Next, this is another one that never gets old. It's a favorite of mine for the fall, probably a favorite of yours for the fall as well. Paco Rabanne 1 million Privé. Such a good cinnamon and tobacco. It's got a little bit of sweetness without being an overly sweet tobacco. It's got a lot of warm spice to it, more so than a heavy sweetness. There's definitely some underlying sweetness, but it's more cinnamon and tobacco. Beautiful fragrance, great performer, not too loud, but definitely not subtle. You know, 7-8 hour fragrance. It's not beast mode longevity, but it's getting there. It's above average performance for this fragrance. You can get them for a decent price, 50 mLs like this online, 100 mLs testers. You can find them in the rack stores, which is where I found both of my 50 mLs. Wonderful fragrance. An arguable best of the line for the 1 million line. I haven't smelled the newest Parfum. Eventually I will, but I do have the majority of them outside of Absolutely Gold and Intense. I have the original, I have Lucky, I have Cologne, I have the bulk of them, and this is definitely my favorite of the group, and a fantastic tobacco fragrance as far as the designer side of things. That it's not really a cheapie, but it's not really expensive either. One to definitely get your hands on, one that I thoroughly enjoy. That's 1 million Privé, Paco Rabanne. Now there's a few versions of this, and some will argue that the Eau de Parfum should be here, but I don't have the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Toilette is still a wonderful fragrance. Amber and tobacco. It's sexy, it's beautiful. People love the way it smells. It's Dolce & Gabbana. The one. Yep, I have the Eau de Toilette, and I have the Eau de Parfum Intense, which is not so much on the tobacco, more on some cardamom. Get another spray. Oh man, one of the most popular designer DNAs that's out there. Home run type of fragrance. Not mass appealing, but a massively loved scent DNA. Date night superstar. This is a go-to. This is, if nothing else, you can wear Dolce & Gabbana the one on a date, and your woman's going to like it. More so than not, that'll be the case. Like I said, a beautiful amber and tobacco. That's what dominates this fragrance, because this video is all about fragrances that are dominated by tobacco. And this is one of the better ones. It's got a little, same thing as with Privé, some underlying sweetness, but not too much. This one's not heavy on spice. It doesn't have a bunch of cinnamon and stuff like that. It's more so that beautiful amber note in here, as well as a lovely, lovely sweet, this slightly sweet tobacco. The eau de toilette, you can't go wrong. Don't think you have to have the eau de parfum, because if you don't need something that's 8 hours and you're cool with 5 hours, which most dates, that's plenty. It's absolutely okay to grab the eau de toilette of Dolce & Gabbana, the one. This or the EDP. Either way, you're good to go. Great tobacco fragrance. Now we go from a not so powerful tobacco fragrance to an extremely, ridiculously powerful tobacco fragrance from Happyland Studio, Happyland Signature. Sweet, gourmand tobacco. Honey, blueberry, and tobacco. That's going to be your dominant notes. And it's a beautiful one. Compliment factor, way up there. If people around you like gourmand fragrances and tobacco fragrances in general, you're going to like this one. You're going to like this one, and those around you will, because everybody around you will smell you. It's a beast mode fragrance for sure. 12 plus hours, big, big, big scent cloud. Nothing subtle about Happyland Signature. I don't know what else I could say that I haven't said before, because I've talked about this one so many times, because it's a must-try if you're into tobacco fragrances for the price. I mean, get yourself a 20% off discount code. They're always available. Check out the Happyland Studio Fragrance group in Facebook. They always run specials on there. Check out the website below. Get yourself a sample pack. But if you're looking for a great tobacco fragrance, look no further than the best tobacco fragrance from Happyland Studio, and that's Happyland Signature. Red wine, honey, and tobacco. That's the best way to describe what you're going to smell most prominently and dominantly from this fragrance. Is Sweet Tobacco Spirits 1821. Man-made. A personal favorite of my buddy Russell Anderson. Shout out to you, Russell. This is another beast mode performer. It's a honey bomb. Beautiful red wine accord that's in this one. That's one of the things that separates this one that I haven't found in any other tobacco fragrances. And the beautiful tobacco note. I think retails around $80 for this 100 ml bottle. You can find them in the $50 range online. Worth every penny. Affordable. Cheapy? No. Affordable? Absolutely. And another one that's a gorgeous compliment machine. If you live in a colder climate, this is going to cut through the cold no problem. I can assure you. If you're in a warmer climate like I am, limited times when you can wear it, because it's heavy. It's a heavy wear for sure, but it's a beautiful, beautiful scent. If you live in colder climates, this is kind of a must-have if you're a fragrance lover, in my opinion. And it's one that I urge you to check out. I don't know if you can get your hands on samples, but they have shampoos, they have men's products. Sweet Tobacco Spirits 1821 Man-Made comes in many forms, but the best of all being this Parfum Concentration fragrance. Check it out this holiday season. Well, fall on into the holiday season. And it's funny that I mentioned holiday season after talking about 1821 Man-Made, because I know when it comes to this particular designer tobacco fragrance, people think Christmas. I know I do. Pine green, tobacco, rum, all these wonderful things. It's Christmas in a bottle. It's Burberry London. Who doesn't like Burberry London? This is such a fantastic tobacco fragrance. This is, like I said, Christmas in a bottle. I want to make sure I got the atomizer facing the right way. Is it synthetic? Yeah, sure. It's a Burberry fragrance. But it's a beautiful, beautiful Burberry fragrance. Probably the most popular outside of Burberry Touch, which is a bit more versatile because it's more wearable than this. This is definitely geared towards the colder weather because it's a boozy tobacco. But man, this is a staple in the cooler months. This is another one that's kind of a must-have for everyone. Like I said, a lot of people are going to think Christmas time when they smell this fragrance, because in the cold weather, it's an ideal, easy tobacco to wear. It's a heavier wear, but it's not a difficult wear. It's very pleasing. Compliment factor is going to be up there. It's very pleasing to those around you. The aroma is beautiful. It's not overly complex. It doesn't change a whole lot, but the opening on into the dry down is definitely gorgeous on this one. And if you haven't gotten a bottle before, you probably should. Maybe this year's the year. And that's Burberry London. Now we went from a cheapie to the most expensive on the list. And for good reason. The presentation is second to none from this house. And this is definitely the highest quality fragrance on this list in this video. And the cleanest, most pure smelling. It's from Argos. Triumph of Baccus. I've been spending a lot of time with this fragrance lately. It's awesome, guys. Try a sample. I get it. They're not cheap. I mean, look at these. I mean, this is just a bottle. You should see the boxes that they come in as well. It's so beautiful. There's a lot of citrus. You get some peach and some apple up top with this beautiful rum absolute. This super, super clean. This is the cleanest tobacco note I've ever smelled in a fragrance. And it's loud. It's powerful. It's elegant. This is a classy tobacco fragrance. A classy, boozy tobacco. When's the last time you heard that? And I don't mean raw, rough, rugged man. This is way too clean cut to be raw, rough, rugged man. Sample this one. Definitely not cheap to blind buy. Is it blind buy worthy if you got the money? Yeah, if you like tobacco fragrances, it's one of the best. But I urge you to sample. Make sure it's for you because they're not cheap. But once you smell it, you're going to want a bottle because it's that good. From Argos, Triumph of Baccus. Now we go from the most expensive fragrance in the video to the cheapest fragrance in the video because, in my opinion, this is the best beginner's tobacco fragrance. One that everybody should check out because 20 bucks will get you a 100 milliliter bottle at most racks, at all the rack stores when you find it. And it's a good, moist, sweet tobacco. It's great for beginners when you're starting your journey. Calvin Klein, CK1 Shock. Is performance fantastic and amazing? It's okay. I get about 7 to 8 hours. Some people report less. Has it been reformulated? Probably so. I'm sure. But it's one, like I said, 20 bucks will get you a 100 milliliter bottle. 30 bucks will get you a 200 milliliter bottle. It's one that you can spray away. It's extremely pleasing. It's youthful and playful. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but no, I don't think it's just for young men and teenagers. Any age can wear this one. Like I said, I believe it's the best way to dab your toe into tobacco fragrances and see if you enjoy a tobacco note, because it's an extremely easy wear, probably the easiest wear in this video. It's like busting out your tobacco fragrance starter set. Here it is right here. CK1 Shock. Now we go from the easiest, cheapest wear to, don't get me wrong, this one's not super expensive when you can find it, but it's got a castoreum note in it. It's smoky. It's got a beautiful leather. This is more masculine. This is more rough, rugged man. This is John Varvatos, Dark Rebel. Boozy, smoky tobacco and leather. That's what you're going to get from it for the most part. A little animalic. Beautiful. Doesn't smell too designer. Very high quality for a designer. I'm not going to sit here and say it smells niche, but it's bordering it for sure. One of the better performing fragrances from John Varvatos. You're going to get about 6 hours with this. Yes, 6 hours is one of the better performing John Varvatos fragrances. And in my opinion, this is probably the best fragrance from the house. This is a must-have. I love wearing this one in the winter for sure. When it's really cold outside, there's a serious chill in the air and you put your jacket on, sitting by a fire, stuff like that. The smokiness in this is just going to blend with this, you know, the mood and really go with the vibe. This is a lovely tobacco fragrance. More rough and rugged for sure than some of the other ones, the easier wears and the cleaner tobaccos that we've talked about. We're starting to get into the more masculine tobaccos for sure. And John Varvatos Dark Rebel is absolutely one of those. Gotta love that fleur-de-lis. And speaking of, just like I said with John Varvatos Dark Rebel, more rough, rugged, and raw, this is definitely the most pungent because of the added oud and the smokiness from the incense on this one. This is from Mancera. It's Red Tobacco. Now, this takes a similar scent profile to Argos, but that is much, much cleaner. This is a little bit louder than that one, and like I said, this one's a bit more pungent. This one's a bit more harsh. Beautiful. Beautiful. My favorite tobacco fragrance. Has been for a long time now. Nuclear performance. It's like a 16-hour fragrance. It fills a room. You don't need a lot of sprays. It's a compliment magnet. But It's definitely a much more harsh opening because of that pungent oud and that heavy smoky incense that's used in this one. It's such a good fragrance though. Oh man, and you can get them for a really good price from Kingdom Fragrances and from Vinba Fragrances. They both have them in stock right now. Both their links are down below if you want to check them out, see who's got the better price and go with it. Because this is a must-have as well. Under $100 from the discounters below. I don't know exactly what they're going for, around 90-ish, 80-ish dollars. Retail is much, much, much more than double that. But from discounters, this is one of the best affordable niche fragrances money can buy for the cooler months, and it just happens to be my favorite tobacco fragrance. I mean, hell, it's right there in the name, and that's Mancera Red Tobacco. Well guys, that's my favorites, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of these do you have? Yes, I do have more tobacco fragrances than this. I have more fragrances where tobacco is more of a supporting player than the most dominant note. Well, I really wanted to focus on my favorites that are dominated by a tobacco note, where it's one of the 2 or 3 main things you will pick out. Overwhelmingly, a tobacco fragrance. That's what this video was about. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I discussed here today, and you give them a spray now, I'm pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.